I never imagined that the simple act of buying a cabin in the Idaho backwoods would turn me into a one-man vigilante force against corporate entitlement. But that's exactly what happened when she showed up with her massive RV and an extension cord longer than her list of grudges. She rammed that plug right into my outdoor outlet like she owned the damn forest, sucking power for her air conditioning and microwave while I watched from my porch. Coffee mug frozen mid-sip, wondering if this was some viral prank gone wrong. By the time the cops hauled her away in handcuffs, screaming about discrimination and her rights as a taxpayer, I'd already leaked the footage to every local news outlet from Boise to Spokane, turning her viral meltdown into the karmic bonfire that torched her entire career. That first summer, back in 2023, I'd scraped together every penny from my divorce settlement to buy that 15-acre plot off Route 12. A slice of heaven with a creek running through it and enough pine trees to block out the world. I've been a mid-level IT guy at a Seattle firm for 15 years, pushing pixels and troubleshooting firewalls for execs who treated me like a glorified janitor. When the wife left me for her yoga instructor, citing my emotional unavailability, code for not rich enough, I cashed out the 401k and bolted for the hills. The cabin was rustic, log walls, a stone fireplace, solar panels on the roof for off-grid bragging rights. But I'd wired in a few outlets for the generator and the occasional power tool. It was my sanctuary, my fuck you to the rat race. No neighbors for a mile, just deer, owls, and the kind of silence that heals bullet holes in your soul. I arrived in late June, truck bed loaded with lumber and a cooler of IPAs, ready to build a deck and forget humanity existed. The first week was bliss, hiking trails at dawn, fly fishing for cutthroat in the evenings, grilling venison burgers under a sky so star-studded it felt like God's own disco. I even started writing again, jotting notes for a memoir about reclaiming your balls after 40. Life was good, simple, until the rumble started. It was a Saturday afternoon, me elbow deep in sawdust, when I heard the diesel growl echoing down the access road. At first, I figured it was a logger or a hunter. Folks up here minded their business. But then this behemoth rolled into view, a 30-foot Winnebago, gleaming white like a tumor on the green landscape, towing a Jeep that looked like it had never seen mud. Behind the wheel was her, Karen Leong, though I didn't know her name yet. Mid-40s, Asian American with that polished corporate sheen, sleek black bob haircut, oversized sunglasses perched on a button nose, and a blouse stretched taut over what had to be at least 250 pounds crammed into yoga pants that screamed, "I deserve this parking spot." She looked like the love child of a Fortune 500 exec and a sumo wrestler who discovered kale smoothies too late. She didn't even glance my way as she maneuvered that beast right up to my property line, the tires crunching over wildflowers I'd planted the day before. The RV stopped inches from my new deck posts, and out she hopped, phone glued to her ear, barking orders in that clipped Valley Girl accent laced with Mandarin inflections. "Yes, Todd, the Q3 projections are trash. Fix it or you're out. And tell HR to comp me for this team-building retreat. It's essential for my mental bandwidth." Mental bandwidth? In the middle of nowhere? I wiped the sweat from my brow and stepped off the porch, trying to play nice. "Mom, this is private property. You can't park here." My voice came out steadier than I felt. Years of dealing with passive-aggressive bosses had honed that tone. She lowered the phone just enough to squint at me over her shades, like I was a mosquito she deigned to swat later. "Excuse me? This is public access land. I'm with Eco Ventures, Corporate Wellness Initiative. We're entitled to dispersed camping under BLM regs." She waved a manicured hand at a crumpled permit on her dashboard, the kind you get for free at any gas station. I glanced at it, yeah. It was legit for the national forest adjacent to my lot. But she crossed the fence. "Look, the road ends there." I pointed to the gravel turnaround 50 yards back. "But this here's my 15 acres. No trespassing. Her lips curled into that trademark Karen sneer. The one that says, "Do you know who I am?" She was the CEO of Leon Dynamics, a mid-tier green tech firm peddling solar gadgets to guilt-tripped millennials. I'd Google her later. LinkedIn profile screaming disruptor and mompreneur with headshots airbrushed to hide the double chin. But right then, she just huffed, yanked an orange extension cord from her undercarriage compartment. God, it was thick as my wrist, and marched straight to my outlet by the shed. Click. Plug right in. The RV's AC hummed to life, and I swear I heard my breaker box groan. Hey, that's my power. I lunged forward, but she was already climbing back into the driver's seat, reversing the cord like a snake. Relax, cabin boy. I'll unplug when I'm done charging. It's not like you're running a data center out here. She slammed the door, and the generator kicked on inside the RV, drowning out the bird song with its petty chug-chug. I stood there, fists clenched, watching her through the tinted windows as she poured herself a green juice and scrolled TikTok. Part of me wanted to yank the cord and watch sparks fly, metaphorically, at least. But I was the new guy in town, didn't want a reputation as the crazy hermit. So I let it slide. That night, as I lay in my sleeping bag listening to her binge Netflix at full volume, I told myself it was temporary. She'd move on by morning. She didn't. Sunday dawned with her still parked there. Now, with a folding chair unfolded and a Bluetooth speaker blasting some wellness podcast about manifesting abundance. I tried again over coffee, stronger this time. Mom, seriously, this isn't a campground. You got to go. She turned, mid-bite, into a gluten-free muffin that looked like compressed sawdust, crumbs tumbling into her cleavage. Oh, it's you again. Listen, I've got a board call at noon, and self-service sucks back there. Plus, this spot's got the best vibe, feng shui approved. She gestured vaguely at the trees, like my cabin was her personal energy vortex. I'll comp you for the juice. Venmo me your deets later. Call me? Like I was her intern? The audacity hit me like a slap. No. Unplug. Now. Or I call the sheriff. Her eyes narrowed. That corporate shark gleams surfacing. You wouldn't. This is harassment. I'm a minority woman in tech. Do you have any idea the optics? She pulled out her phone, thumb hovering over the camera. One post on X, and you're the poster boy for rural bigotry. Cabin Karen Gate. Anyone. I backed off. Heart pounding. She was right. In 2023 America, who wins that PR war? The divorced white dude in flannel or the self-made CEO touting empowerment? I retreated to the cabin, fuming, and spent the afternoon sharpening my axe, not for firewood, but for stress relief. By dusk, she'd unplugged and rolled out, tires spinning divots in my grass. Victory? Hardly. As her taillights faded, I noticed the gift she'd left, a $50 Starbucks card taped to my door with a note, for the inconvenience. Stay woke. I burned it in the fire pit that night, watching the plastic melt into toxic smoke. But sleep came fitful, dreams haunted by extension cords coiling like pythons. Little did I know, that was just the appetizer. Karen Leong had tasted my power, and she was hooked. The next weekend, she was back. Same RV, same entitled swagger, but this time with a posse, 2 underlings in matching company polos, lugging coolers and a cornhole set. Team building, she announced as they plugged in. Yes. Plural cords now. One for the RV, another snaking to a portable espresso machine. Diversity retreat. We're fostering inclusion in nature. Inclusion? On my dime? I marched out. Cell phone recording. This is trespassing. Second offense. I'm documenting. The underlings froze. But Karen just laughed, that braying. Performative cackle HR execs practice in mirrors. Document away. Chat. This is content gold. Followers love a good standing up to the man story. She posed with the cord like it was a scepter, snapping selfies. One minion even high-fived her. I called the non-emergency line while they barbecued, vegan patties that smelled like regret. The deputy, a grizzled vet named Harlan, showed up in his cruiser, toothpick dangling from his lip. He took one look at the setup, then at me, disheveled, axe in hand, and chuckled. "Folks, this here's private land. Ma'am, you gotta relocate." Karen launched into orbit. "This is outrageous. I'm a taxpayer, a job creator. You think you can just—" She thrust her phone at him. A viral video already uploading. Rural cops versus empowered woman. Watch this injustice unfold. BLM Forcios. Harlan didn't flinch. "Mom, unplug or I'll do it for you." And that cornhole game's on his grass. That's destruction of property. She unplugged with a dramatic yank, cords whipping like angry tails, but not before hissing at me. "This isn't over. Hillbilly, I'll bury you in lawsuits." The team piled in, RV peeling out in a cloud of diesel fumes that lingered like her perfume. Cheap Chanel knockoff mixed with entitlement. Harlan clapped my shoulder as they vanished. First time with a car. Visitor like that. Something like that. He grinned. Buy a lock for that outlet. And a game cam. Next time, we make it stick. I did both. Installed a heavy-duty cover on a motion-activated camera sync to my phone. Felt like fortifying for war. Weeks passed in relative peace. I finished the deck. Planted garden. Even dated a barista from Coeur d'Alene who liked my rugged vibe. But Karen? She festered in my mind like a bad burrito. I stalked her online. LinkedIn rants about toxic masculinity in the outdoors. X threads tagging nature for all. Her follower count swelling off the drama. She was turning my nightmare into her brand. Then, Labor Day weekend. My phone buzzed at 2 a.m. Camera alert. There she was. Solo this time. RV creeping in under moonlight like a stealth bomber. She jimmied the outlet cover with a screwdriver, caught crystal clear, and plugged in. Not just charging, the AC blasted. Lights blazed. Microwave dinged with what smelled like popcorn, even from afar. She'd bypassed my lock like it was tissue paper. Rage boiled over. I grabbed my shotgun, not loaded, just for show, and stormed out. Floodlight in hand. "Get the fuck off my land." "Karen." She burst from the RV door. Bathrobe flapping open to reveal a nightgown strained at the seams. Face puffy from sleep or wine. "You again? This is stalking. I'll have you arrested." "Stalking? You're the one breaking in at night like a goddamn vampire." I thrust a phone at her. Video rolling. The shotgun barrel caught the moon. Accidental prop. But it worked. Her eyes darted to it. Then the camera. For the first time, a flicker of fear. But Karens don't back down. They double down. That's a threat. Armed intimidation. "I'm calling the FBI. Hate crime." She did dial 911, shrieking about a white supremacist with a gun terrorizing a successful Asian woman. Cops arrived, sirens blaring. Lights painting the trees blue and red. Harlan again, with a partner this time. They separated us. Me on the porch, her in the cruiser. Robe clutched like a shield. The body cam footage later showed it all. Her wild claims. My comm recount. Timestamps. Priors from the permit logs. The tampered lock gleaming under flashlights. They towed the RV at dawn. Impound fees racking up like her therapy bills. As she was driven off, sobbing now, mascara rivers on her cheeks, she screamed out the window, "You'll pay for this. My lawyers will ruin you." I waved. "See you in court?" See. But that was just round 3. The real war was brewing in pixels and headlines. What followed was a shitstorm of subpoenas and screenshots that made me question if unplugging her cord had been worth the apocalypse. Karen Leong didn't just sue, she weaponized the internet, turning our backwoods beef into a national circus of canceled careers and doxing threats. Her X feed exploded, Justice for Karen trending with memes of me as the cabin clan. Photoshop with a hood over my flannel. This is bigger than a parking spot, she posted from her high-rise condo in Bellevue. It's about access, equity, and not letting redneck relics gatekeep the American dream. Her followers, mostly coastal tech bros and performative allies, piled on. Colonizer much? Time to redistribute that land. Comrade, I hunkered down, boarding the windows like a zombie siege. My barista ghosted me after her friend sent her articles calling me a misogynist squatter. Work calls from Seattle dried up. Old colleagues whispered about that guy who went full Unabomber. But Harlan had my back. Slip me a tip. She's got priors. Check the county records. And keep filming. Everything. So I did. Dug into public databases over lukewarm coffee. Unearthing gold. Karen's wellness retreats weren't one-offs. She'd been squatting on public lands for years, racking up fines for illegal dumping, those compostable wipes clogging streams, and poaching Wi-Fi from ranger stations. Worse, her company, Leong Dynamics, was under SEC scrutiny for fudged green certifications, solar panels that were anything but. But the kicker? A 2022 trespassing charge in Montana. Dismissed after she lawyered up and cried racial profiling to the judge. Pattern recognized. Armed with printouts, I upgraded my setup, trail cams everywhere, a drone for aerial shots, even a decibel meter app to log her speaker blasts. Fall turned crisp, leaves crunching underfoot as I patrolled my perimeter like a paranoid park ranger. She stayed away for a month, probably licking wounds in boardrooms, but I knew better. Karens don't quit, they pivot. Halloween night, the ping hit. Drone feed, her RV, decked in ghost lights. Pulling up with a U-Haul trailer this time. Glamping event for influencers, she yelled to her cargo of wide-eyed 20-somethings. All in pumpkin spice hoodies. They spilled out, 10 of them, setting up tents on my side of the fence. Fairy lights strung from my trees. And the cords? A spiderweb of them. Daisy chained to my outlets. Powering space heaters. Ring lights. And a goddamn fog machine that hazed the whole valley. I let them settle for an hour, gathered evidence like a digital hoarder, then flipped the breaker. Darkness swallowed them whole. Screams erupted. What the? My laptop. The vlogs. It's deleting. Karen's voice cut through. A banshee wail. That fascist neighbor. Sabotage. I stepped into the beam of their dying lanterns. Arms crossed. Evening. Folks. Party's over. Private property. The influencers scattered like roaches. But Karen charged, fistballed. Face a mask of fury. Jowls quivering. You cut my power? That's vandalism. Theft of services. I'll own this shithole by Christmas. One brave TikToker filmed it all. Live streaming to 50K viewers. OMG. Drama in the woods. CEO versus. Cabin creep. Comments flooded. Team Karen. Sue his ass. Is that a gun rack on the porch? Red flag. I held steady. Phone counter recording. Call it even for the lock you picked last time. Now pack up. Sheriff's en route. She lunged for my phone, nails raking air, but tripped on a root, sprawling into a mud puddle with a splat that echoed like karma's applause. The stream caught every jiggle, every curse in bilingual fury. Fucking hick, I'll end you. Her empire of likes crumbled in real time. By morning, the clip had 2 million views. But the tide turned. Cabin creep flipped to Karen crash. With zooms on her mud-smeared rage, face captioned when a mask slips. Harlan arrived with backups, citing her for trespass, illegal event permitting, an environmental violation, fairy lights tangled in protected owl habitat. The influencers bailed, U-Haul fishtailing out. But Karen? She lawyered up on site, demanding my arrest for assault, the breaker flip. Apparently. Court date set for December, small claims at first, but her suit ballooned to federal. alleging discrimination under the Fair Housing Act. My RV is my mobile home, her attorney argued in filings. Bullshit. But it stuck the headlines. Tech titan sues hermit for denying nomadic equity. Winter hit hard, snow blanketing the cabin like insulation against the world. I shoveled driveways for cash. Traded stories at the diner with locals who bought me beers after the viral vids. That one's a piece of work, the waitress said. Sliding pie on the house. Heard she's bankrupt from bad investments. This retreat craps her Hail Mary. Bankrupt? I dove diper. Cross-referencing SEC docs with her ex-boasts. Leon Dynamics was hemorrhaging. Investors fleeing after a whistleblower exposed her as the plug-in queen, siphoning power from parks to cut overhead. Her board ousted her in November. Leaked memos calling her a liability with a victim complex. Poetic. But she doubled down. Christmas Eve, a knock on my door. Not Santa, but a process server with a fat envelope, defamation suit. Inside, screenshots of my anonymous posts on Reddit's r/Idaho and r/Am I Free to Go. Beware the RV vampire of Route 12. Steals your juice and your sanity. I kept it light. Factual. But she spun it as cyberbullying. I laughed. Snowflakes melting on the paper. Merry fucking Christmas. Karen. New Year's brought the counterpunch. Harlan tipped me off. Her RV impounded again. This time for unpaid fees, $5K and climbing. Desperate. She showed up unannounced. Not in a Beast, but a rented Prius. Bundled in a parka that couldn't hide the weight gain from stress eating. No bossy. No camera crew, just her, shivering on my porch, holding a thermos like an olive branch. Look, she said, voice cracking, no screech. Just raw. This has gone too far. I need a place to charge. Just overnight. The grid's down at my Airbnb. And my phone's at 3%. Please. For humanity. Humanity? From her? I cracked the door. Steam from my cocoa fogging the air. Why here? After all this? She shifted, eyes darting guilt, calculation. Because you won. Okay, the board's gone. The funding's dried up. I'm just trying to survive. A tear, real or rehearsed, tracked down her cheek. We're both outsiders, right? You with your divorce scars. Me with the glass ceiling. Truce. For a split second, pity flickered. America loves a redemption arc, second chances. Bootstraps. All that Hallmark crap. I almost handed her the cord. Almost. But then I saw it. Her phone screen, peeking from her pocket. Recording app open. Red light blinking. Bait. For another comeback Karen video. No, I said. Slamming the door. Plug in at the library. Or better, get a job that doesn't involve stealing. Her howl followed me inside. Muffled by the wood. You heartless prick. I'll make you regret this. She did try. January court was a circus. Her in a power suit 2 sizes too small. Me in Carhartts. Harlan testifying with cam footage. Judge. A no-nonsense rancher type. Watch the Labor Day splat on loop and bang the gavel. Dismissed. With prejudice. And ma'am, pay the man's legal fees. Or contempt. She stormed out. Vowing appeals. But the damage was done. Investors bailed. Partners ghosted. By February, Leon Dynamics folded. She filed Chapter 11 from Motel 6 in Spokane. I thought that was the end. Foolish me. Spring thaw brought crocuses and a false sense of closure. But Karen Leon was like a weed, stubborn, invasive, sprouting anew when you least expected. I'd patched the cabin roof, planted tulips along the drive, even started a blog about off-grid justice that netted a few Patreon bucks from folks who'd seen the vids. Life normalized. Morning runs through melting snow. Evenings with a new dog, a mutt named Bolt, ironic guardian of my outlets. Harlan dropped by for poker nights, swapping war stories over whiskey. She slink back, he'd ask. Dealing cards. Not yet, I'd say. But the itch was there. I monitored her feeds obsessively, her X down to crickets, LinkedIn frozen on seeking opportunities in sustainable innovation. Desperation posts, strong female leader available for consulting. Let's disrupt together. Likes 12. Mostly bots. Schadenfreude is a hell of a drug. Then, April Fools, fittingly, she resurfaced. Not my door, but in my inbox, a cease and desist from a bottom feeder firm in Boise, demanding I scrub all defamatory content or face escalated litigation. Attached, affidavits from her witnesses, those influencers, now recanting their streams as coerced. Bullshit. But it cost time, money. A consult with a pro bono lawyer from the ACLU who'd seen the vids and laughed. This is gold. Counter with invasion of privacy. Her recordings of you without consent. I did. Filing my own suit for $10,000 in damages. Ruined grass. Tampered locks. Emotional distress. Therapy bills from the doxing. Court date, June. Smack in wedding season. Meanwhile, her empire crumbled further. Foreclosure on her Bellevue condo. Splashed across Puget Sound real estate blogs. From CEO penthouse to motel mattress, one quipped. With her mugshot from a DUI stop. Oops. Leaked by yours truly via anonymous tip. She cracked publicly in May. A rambling LinkedIn live from a coffee shop. The system is rigged against ambitious women like me. That cabin troll? He's the face of it. Stealing opportunities. Gatekeeping peace. Views, 500. Comments. Get a grip. Karen. Maybe stop trespassing. The backlash was biblical. Even her old allies unfollowed. Desperate Karens do desperate things. Memorial Day weekend. The drone buzzed RV? No. A pop-up camper this time. Hitched to that same Jeep. Towed by a nervous 20-something kid who bailed the second the tires hit gravel. Karen alone. Hauling Walmart bags. Extension cord coiled like a pet snake. She didn't plug in right away. Instead, she marched to my door, megaphone in hand, where the hell, and launched into a soliloquy. Ladies and gentlemen of the internet. She propped her phone on a tripod. Live again. I stand before you not as a victim, but a victor. Today, I reclaim my right to nature. To recharge, literally and figuratively. This man, jabbing in my cabin, represents the dying breed of isolationists blocking progress. Join me in Recharge Revolution. I watch from the window, Bolt growling low. She plugged in defiant click, then danced a jig, her bulk wobbling to some empowerment anthem blaring from a portable speaker. Followers trickled in, 100, 200 live. Comments, Yas Queen, mixed with this is pathetic. Enough. I stepped out, not with a gun or axe, but my phone, streaming my own feed to a subreddit audience now at 5K subs. Folks, welcome to the sequel. Watch this. Harlan was on speed dial. He rolled up in minutes. Lights flashing but silent. Our trap. Ma'am, he drawled. Third strike. Step away from the cord. She whirled. Megaphone to lips. Officer. This is performance art. Protected speech. He sighed, cuffing her wrists with practiced ease. Speech don't pay electric bills. Nor does it excuse burglary. The kid witness? Her, in turn, paid an exposure. He spilled everything. How she'd recruited him from Craigslist. Promising viral fame, but really just needing muscle for her comeback stunt. The arrest went viral. My stream hit 100K views. Her feed suspended for harassment violations as deputies loaded her into the cruiser. She twisted, face pressed to glass. This is assault. Get my lawyer. Call her from lockup, Harlan said, sliding in. Charges, trespassing, felony now. Priors, theft of utilities, over $500 cumulative, and resisting arrest. Bail, $20,000 she didn't have. Jail time loomed. Idaho don't play with repeat offenders. Her revolution fizzled. The kid sued her for back pay. Influencers distanced. Board remnants issued a statement. A mess. Liang's actions do not reflect our values. Summer solstice. I hosted a barbecue. Locals toasting the unplugging. Bolt chased fireflies. Laughter echoed where her rants once did. But victory's hollow without reflection. Had I become her? Obsessed? Vengeful? Nah. She started it. Entitled plugs into my piece. I just pulled them. Court in June was anticlimax. She pled out community service, restitution, a restraining order barring her from Route 12 for life. Shuffled in overweight orange. No makeup. She glared daggers but signed without a peep. Judge to her, ma'am, nature's not a utility. Find a campground. Outside, reporters swarmed. CNN, Fox, even a podcaster sniffing true crime vibes. I gave one quote. She plugged in. I plug her out. America. Her fall was total. Bankruptcy final. Company liquidated. Social's dark. Last I heard, she's consulting from a cubicle in Tacoma. Irony's chef's kiss. Pushing boundaries workshops to burn out techies. No more RVs. No more courts. Just quiet cubicle hum. Me? Deck's done. Garden thrives. Bolt's got a sister now. The cabin's mine again. Sacred. Silent. But every outlet gleams with a story of a man who fought back. Not with fists, but facts. And a Karen who learned too late. You can't charge your ego on someone else's grid. Epilogue? Nah. Life's no tidy bow. But if there was one, it'd be that crisp October morning. 6 months post-cuffs. When the certified letter arrived, return address, Idaho Department of Corrections. Not from her, but her public defender. Enclosing a check for $15,247.62. Full restitution. Plus interest. Scribbled note inside. She settled. Said to tell you fuck off, but with better feng shui. I framed it, check and all, above the fireplace. A trophy of unplugging. Burned the note. Ashes to the creek. Harlan stopped by that night. Cracking a beer. Heard she's writing a book. Plugged in, my battle for nomadic justice. You in the acknowledgments. Only as the villain. I laughed. Wouldn't have it any other way. Truth is, the revenge wasn't the win. It was the reclaiming, the silence after the storm. The hum of my own solar panels powering a life on my terms. Karen Leong? She's out there somewhere. Probably plugging into someone else's patience. But not mine. Never again. And if she tries, well, the cams are always rolling. Fade to black. Roll credits. Wait, no. One last ping. Winter 2025. Snow dusting the pines. My phone lights up. Anonymous email. Grainy attachment. Her, thinner now. Forced gym time and lockup at a podium in some Reno conference. Droning about lessons in resilience. Slide deck behind. From trespass to triumph. Navigating entitlement. I hit reply. Unplug yourself. Sent. Blocked. Laughed till it hurt. That's the American dream, right? Not the penthouse or the RV empire, but the cabin in the woods. Wired tight against the world. And if a CEO comes knocking, well, some plugs just weren't meant to fit. The end? Hell, it's just the recharge.